there is a particular tone people use when they say it. It's perfectly legal. The emphasis lands on perfectly, as if legality were not just compliance, but virtue, as if the absence of a crime were the presence of character. It's a fascinating move. Not it's right, not it's good, not it's fair, just it's legal, which is to say, I have located the boundary of punishment, and I am standing 1 inch inside it. You cannot touch me here. That's what the phrase really means. The law is a floor. It was never meant to be a ceiling. It establishes the minimum standard for behavior that society can enforce without tearing itself apart. It does not describe the maximum expression of integrity, but people love the floor, because floors are measurable. Morality is not. When someone says it's perfectly legal, they are rarely trying to clarify. They're trying to end the conversation. Legality becomes a shield, not a principle, a shield. You see it everywhere. Corporations that exploit loopholes and shrug. Perfectly legal. Influencers who mislead but avoid technical fraud. Perfectly legal. People who betray trust without crossing criminal lines. Perfectly legal. The phrase carries a faint hostility. It implies that the only court that matters is the one with jurisdiction. If the judge cannot sentence me, you cannot question me. But legality and legitimacy are not twins. Slavery was once legal. Child labor was legal. Segregation was legal. Legality has never guaranteed decency. It guarantees compliance with current power structures. Nothing more. And yet in personal life, we invoke it like absolution. I didn't break any laws. That's not the same as I didn't break anyone. There's a difference between avoiding jail and avoiding damage. We have confused the two. Why? Because legality is objective. It is binary. You either crossed the line or you didn't. Morality is layered. It requires reflection. It asks uncomfortable questions. It does not always provide clean verdicts. It's perfectly legal is appealing because it narrows the field. It says, this discussion will remain technical, but human harm is rarely technical. You can crush someone's trust without committing a felony. You can manipulate without forging documents. You can exploit ignorance without falsifying contracts. You can leave someone devastated and still be well within the boundaries of the law. Perfectly legal. And that's the problem. The phrase reveals the speaker's operating system. If legality is the highest standard they can cite, then legality is the highest standard they recognize. Which is to say, the only thing stopping them is consequence. Remove the consequence. Remove the restraint. There's no inner governor, no self-imposed ceiling, just external enforcement. This is where things get personal. All of us have said it in some form, maybe not aloud, but internally. It's not illegal, which often translates to, I can get away with this. Not, it's right, not, it's aligned with who I want to be. Just, I won't be punished. That's a very low bar. The irony is that legality is often the last thing moral people consult. They don't need to check the statute, they check the mirror. They ask, does this distort me? Does this diminish someone else? Does this corrode trust? Those questions are harder. They don't have bullet point answers. They don't end with case dismissed. But they matter more. You can build a life that is perfectly legal and deeply corrosive. You can build a reputation that is technically compliant and spiritually bankrupt. And no court will intervene. There is a strange comfort in hiding behind the law. It allows you to outsource conscience to a codebook. If the codebook is silent, your conscience can remain quiet too. But the absence of indictment is not the presence of integrity. The law does not measure pettiness. It does not measure cruelty in tone. It does not measure betrayal in degrees. It measures crimes. That's all. Which is why perfectly legal often sounds defensive. It is invoked when someone senses that what they did fails another test, the relational one, the ethical one, the human one. Legality becomes the final refuge when legitimacy has already collapsed. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The people who most frequently invoke legality as moral proof are often the ones who know they're skating. They are proud of their footwork, but skating is not the same as standing firm. A mature person does not ask, can I do this without getting arrested? They ask, should I do this even if I won't? That second question is where character lives. It's quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need a courtroom. It just shapes the way you move when nobody's watching. You can win every legal argument and still lose something invisible. Trust, respect, your own sense of alignment, and that loss is not prosecutable. It's internal. It's perfectly legal is often the last line spoken before erosion begins, because when legality becomes the ceiling instead of the floor, you have already lowered yourself. The law can protect society from chaos. It cannot protect you from becoming smaller than you were meant to be. That's your job, and no statute will do it for you.